Everybody got to rise. Okay.
Call meeting to order.
All right. We're just going to say a prayer first, and then we're going to do the flag salute. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for blessing every one of us with health. Heavenly Father, just lead and guide and direct this business meeting, and let it all work out well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So we'll go to the flag salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
We have to turn this
Debbie,
on.
yeah.
Has everybody got theirs on?
Yeah. Debbie, would you call the roll?
Sure. Charlie Calhoun.
Here.
Janet Reed.
Here.
Jim Thorpe.
Here.
Vice Chair Scott DeVault. Chair Dana Shear.
Here.
Is Scott coming?
All right.
God is on vacation.
Scott.
He's in Greece.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I wish I
nice.
was
You
there.
gotta
That's
come
tough.
here.
That's
You came here
tough.
first.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
I want to go to Greece.
I do too.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
In consideration of some of our guests, we are going to skip down to item number 4, and then we'll take care of the previous stuff later. Okay? All right. The following grants, Bassmasters Fishing Tournament.
What page is it on?
They are a
4.
national organization and could not send somebody here to present. But all of their stuff is included in the packet.
It's on page 4, correct, Grace? I think Charlie just asked that. No, I'm
Probably-
sorry, page
probably-
27,
I was
Charlie.
about to say probably a little further
I'd
than
be
that.
changed. I'd had
Starting
I
on
had the
page
wrong
27.
27.
No, 27 is not 4.
No, you're right, Jim. You'll see why I said that, though.
Wow.
Okay. So there's nobody here. Do you or anybody else want to give any thoughts, comments about this?
Who talked to them about it when they put it in?
We both have. Grace has as well.
Can y'all share
Is there any
with us
comments
what
from
they
them?
said?
They have done this before.
Okay.
If you look at their site map, they do this at the Choctaw Event Center. And Catfish Bay Marina is where they're going to be hosting most of it. They talk about how many rooms they're going to have, things like that. Again, it is a national thing. They've got a lot going on. They've said that they will use our branding however they can in their flyers and things like that for the fishermen. And if we have follow-up questions,
Are they
then
gonna do their weigh-in where?
Catfish Bay.
Catfish Bay?
Yes.
The marina?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have anybody else contributing to this fishing tournament?
I know they're working with the Choctaw Nation. That's where they're set up and hosting.
Choctaw Nation?
Um,
And how much do they contribute?
I'm not sure.
Jim, there's a budget on page 33.
Yeah, I see that.
That's the economic impact, and then the budget is on page 32, right beside it.
Sure.
They did say if we have any other questions that this event is further out. If we wanted to wait and ask questions, I can write those down and get them back to them and represent this if needed.
Where's the crew gonna stay? You said something about motel rooms.
Yeah, they'll probably host most out of Choctaw Resort, but we all know that that also fills your rooms as well. So
Are
They
the
can't all
Choctaws
stay there.
giving something to it?
I'm not sure.
So they were pleased with the last year's tournament? We had a good
I don't think it
turnout?
was last year. I think it was probably 2 to 3 years
It
ago.
was.
Yeah, it's been
Danny,
several
you were the
years
one that
ago.
represented us at
I
that.
went out there with Jennifer, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
We did.
Did you go to the-
They had their weigh-in out of Choctaw the last time.
No, it's out of Catfish.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did you, were
okay.
you out there?
We went out there for the picture opportunity,
Mhm.
you know, they get whatever.
I didn't see it on the front page.
The front page of
Front
what?
page of what? Front
You know-
page is almost non-existent anymore.
You know, just, I know it's not on the agenda, but I'd like to make a remark here. We're not the same community without a paper. For a lot of things. For high school sports
Yeah.
and all of the county sports. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're not the same community, and I'd like to see us talk about how we might do something somewhere or another to have more than what we got, which is not enough.
That's almost going like the pay telephones out on the road. Everyone underneath 50 does not, they just read the newspaper online. I mean, all of this is changed. The only people that get in the newspaper is probably over 55, 60 years
Well,
old.
I found out that some good friends of mine died about a month or two after. I used to,
True.
Charlie, could we list this as an agenda item for next
I would
month?
like for it to be.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
On the economic impact on 33, you'll see where it's got 721,975, which I felt like was very impressive. And that's for a 2-night hotel stay and several other things that they've got down there.
Janet, they're actually saying it is a 5-day stay for these
So
fishermen.
this is estimated.
They've got a 2-night on this.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Do they have a TV
Yeah,
show?
it is, I'm sorry,
That
Gary.
they will air this tournament on, or?
I am assuming so since it's nationals.
Well, that's what I was looking at, and it does have TV production. That's at 0, but they are also a national organization.
Well, now, this is estimated on professional anglers, 200. So how many did they have the last time they asked for a grant?
I'm not sure.
Was it 150?
seen that.
I think they
125?
had, if I'm not mistaken, Jim, and I could be, I think it was 175 that they had listed.
I was gonna say 180.
Yeah, I
It
think
was a
it was
bit less
about
than
around
that.
that. It was a little bit under that. But, of course, we all know that a lot of that depends on weather and everything else, too, so.
So what's our prize money? What does it start out? Because that makes a difference on if these anglers are coming down.
Okay, look at the, again, the economic impact on those and see. That's their entry fees, service crew sponsors, bass staff. Okay,
It doesn't have the prize money down there.
it doesn't. But it may have on their budget if you look on the page right beside it.
Nope.
I don't see it.
Promotional awards, 3,500. Contractors,
Promotional awards, even if it was prize money, that's not getting anybody down here.
guys, you've got exactly what we've got on it. If there's other questions, didn't you say, Grace, that they were willing to answer those?
That's fine.
Because
Yeah,
the-
they will answer any questions that you guys have, and they're just preparing early for this.
Can we reconsider it at the next meeting and get some of the questions answered?
I think that would be ample time. There is one thing I would like to remind everybody, which you've got in your packets as well, when she gets to the financial statement. Debbie, I think our total amount that we had was 120,000
Right.
for grants this year, and we have already,
70,000 left.
we have 70,000 left at this point before anything else is awarded, so. But this would be one that was already turned in and dated, so it would have to be at the top of the list for
Excellent.
that.
That's-
Yeah, even if we waited until next time.
Yeah, and if you could, just get more information from them.
Are there any other specific questions I should ask?
I
That you
think
could
getting
think
the
of.
prize monies,
Prize
and I
money.
think that actually comes from National. I'm not for sure, but I think National is one that does that.
The other
If I'm
thing they
remembering.
used to do on some of these tournaments is they'd put some prizes in the mouth of some fish and dump them off at different places. And if they caught one of the prize fish, they got that.
And that may still be part of it.
And
We'll-
that brought a lot of
Another
people in.
question that we can ask.
And I'd be interested in what kind of TV, if they have a TV, I think they have a TV show. I don't know if it's weekly or whatever.
I
And if
think he
they-
is.
And if they dedicate a whole show to this tournament, you know.
Right. I'll
Yeah.
see what we can do.
See what you can find
And
out.
Grace, an additional thing, I want to know specifically how Discover Durant brand is going to be used on their
Yeah.
collaterals and
Absolutely.
how it's going to be advertised.
I'll try to see how many views
And,
they can
and on the
get.
TV show, if they have a TV show,
Mhm.
how it's gonna be promoted.
Okay, Charlie, did you make a
I'll
motion
make a
that we table
motion
that?
we table that and reconsider next meeting.
That's, okay. You've had a motion and a second?
You don't
David?
have to table it.
To
No,
table it, we
wait,
don't
wait,
have to
wait,
do
okay,
that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Choctaw Nation powwow,
And they are here to present.
okay?
We'd like to have James up here doing just a little bit of that snake dance.
It's always good to have a councilman with us, right? And he's actually gonna be our singer. No, just kidding. Polito saho chipo, oronsi heshieta, anato chatachkashasiat. My name is Michael Roberts and come from the Choctaw and Chickasaw tribes from Oklahoma. Also have my cousin Carrie here, and then one of our councilmen, James Drive, which all of you guys know, I'm sure. We're here today to,
Could we get you to come up to the microphone?
didn't want to upstage anyone, so.
You already have.
I don't think any of these understood what you were saying at first, even though it's Choctaw. Go ahead.
What we're here is promoting our Choctaw gathering, the powwow, that's will be held the first weekend of November. This is, I believe, our 20th annual, or pretty close. Yeah, COVID kind of messed up the numbers there, but we have dancers, singers that come from all across the Indian territory, Indian country. And when I say Indian country, I'm talking from all of the United States, from as far away as New York City, Florida, California, Washington, and then all the way up into Canada with the provinces of Canada that are coming down to our powwow. Last year we had right at 700 dancers that came down. Now, each one of those dancers, they carry their family with them, which is sometimes between 5 and 7 people. The drums that come down, last year we had 19 drums that came from the same areas like all across the United States and Canada. Those drums, they have anywhere between 12 and 15 singers. The same with them. Each one of those singers carry between 5 and 7 people. They stay either at the Choctaw Resort or in the city of Durant. I believe that is a huge economic boost for the economy here, for the town of Durant. So what we're asking for, last year we started a partnership with the city of Durant. Our chief asked us as a committee to kind of make that way between us and the city, trying to promote the city, trying to get more advertising into the city, whether it be on the marquees or signage promoting dancers to come and spend their dollars here. One of the places that we as Native Americans, because I am a traveler, I travel throughout the United States and Canada promoting our Native American culture and my dance that I do. I've been to all 50 states. Believe it or not, most of the time, most of the summer, I was on the road and traveled to almost 50 states and also up into Canada as well. But not only the United States and Canada, but we also travel overseas and we promote tourism there as well. I also work with the Oklahoma Tourism Department, and we travel to Ireland, Scotland, London, and also into last year we went to Australia to promote tourism here for the Choctaw Nation in the city of Durant. Now, one thing that's very interesting, okay, we have several dancers from from Oklahoma that travel just as much as I do. I would say out of the 52 weeks out of the year, probably 42 weeks I'm on the road, dancing, showcasing our style. Now, I can be way up in Canada, probably 8 hours north of Winnipeg, and if there's somebody there from Oklahoma, the announcer, what they say, oh, you're from Durant. They'll ask that other person, are you from Durant? Because the powwow has made such a huge impact on Native American community. Everybody knows Oklahoma as Durant now. everybody, no matter if they're Cheyenne, Arapaho, or whatever, everybody has recognized Durant as the place to be in Oklahoma. So we're trying to once again make that relationship even stronger. One of the things that we did last year to promote that, the drums that we have coming down, these drums now, if you've never heard Native American singing, those songs they talk about, maybe some of those songs are way, way old since the beginning of time, okay? Those songs, they talk about wars that were done between some of the tribes. They talk about deeds that were done by an individual. Some of those songs, they talk about even war in Vietnam, in Korea, in World War I, World War II. Some of those songs, they talk about individual dancers as well. Now, these songs now, they're being so recognized that some of these drums are even winning Grammys. And they are performing on national stages and also on worldwide stages. I am also a singer as well, and have performed in some of those stages that are known by everyone that is a performer. Lincoln Center, Kennedy Center, the Jerash Festival in Amman, Jordan as well. And so that singing is a integral part of that Native American gathering. Last year what we did was we've had an overall singing championship, I would say the last 10 years. But last year what we did, we got a grant from the city, from Discover Durant. And that grant, we actually used that just for the overall championship. And that overall championship, it gives that incentive for those singers that are coming down to give them a boost to, hey, we're going against Northern drums, because we have two different contests, Northern singing, Southern singing. Southern singing is mostly Oklahoma drums, Texas drums, anything I would say south of Kansas would be considered Southern. So we have our championships here, and Oklahoma is known for Southern singing. Okay, so we have the best drums from the state of Oklahoma, from Kansas, that come to Durant. Okay, Northern side singing, that's those drums from Kansas, anywhere north. Okay, now a lot of times when we talk about the demographic, what is our demographic? Okay, for a dancer and for a singer, our demographic is anywhere. Okay, my dad is 83 years old. My mom is 76-ish. She won't let me tell her real age, okay? But they were in California last weekend. The weekend before, they came home, California last weekend. Next weekend, they'll be somewhere maybe in South Carolina or whatever like that. Our demographic is everywhere. We as dancers, it's kind of like sport, kind of like what you guys were talking about, Bassmasters. We travel extensively throughout the United States and Canada. The city of Durant and the Choctaw Nation, the powwow that they host, we want it to be, it is already one of the one key event that we hold, but we want it to be the best, and we want that partnership between us and the city to be even better, stronger.
Did you say you got a grant from the city of Durant?
We got it from the Discover Durant last year.
That's amazing. Well, this is from this board. It wasn't from the city of Durant.
No, it's from.
It wasn't from the city of Durant. It's from this.
Yes. So one of the things that, and Carrie will speak on this a little bit more, but YouTube, you guys were talking about YouTube and how most social media and stuff like that, the numbers. Last year, for our celebration, we had over how many? We had over 180 countries that were tuning in to our event. And then during the powwow time, we had, what would you say, 400,000? 600,000 viewers that were also tuning in to our event at that time. Now, one of our promoters that come in to do the filming, what we did with the city of Durant, before that showcase, before the overall championship, we actually played a commercial that we received from Janet, and it just showcased all the things that Durant had to offer. What they could see while they're here in the city of Durant, visiting the lake, visiting the other parts of the world's largest peanut, all of those things, and that's one of the things that we want to do. Again, we want to make our event the biggest in the world, and we're not very far off. We're probably a couple of years just because we need a new facility, but we want the money to be there to where it brings everybody in.
And we have a website and we have current events that's coming up. And I don't know, we couldn't do it this time, but I think we could put videos of, if they'll take some pictures or videos of it, possibly, you know, with it coming up next year, you could have a video of the powwow, you know, ahead of time. Which
Absolutely.
would be great for y'all, because anybody gets on discoverdurant.com, what it is, we'll get into these events. So
Right.
we have current events through the year, so if you get on that website, you'll see it. But we can also put videos out there for you too, Kobe.
That would be great.
But now,
Yeah,
saying
we've
that,
got-
now you're sponsored by the Choctaw Nation, right?
Correct.
So what is $10,000 more going to benefit y'all?
Not really, because that money we're setting aside just for that overall championship. We want the city of Durant to be focused just on that overall championship for the singing. So I would really like to have more money for that, because it brings in other singers that might be booked somewhere else.
So
Okay.
you're talking about prize money.
Yes.
That's just be used for.
Yes, that prize money is used just for prize money. Okay, now.
How will our brand be used? How do you brand us? And that may be a Carrie
We
question.
have the championship jacket, that's the overall grand champion for the drum only, and it has this Discover Durant logo on it, and there's only 10 printed, or 10 created, so those are unique to the city of Durant, and nobody else gets those particular grand champion jackets.
And looking at the flyer that you put in the packet, you also, there are two hosts, Choctaw Cultural Center and Discover Durant. This was off of last year.
Yes.
So we will be branded there on
Yes.
your collateral materials as well?
Yes,
Okay.
and any of the billboards that go out.
One thing about our event, you know, like I said, we've been growing the last 19 years. Okay, and like I said, our demographic is the whole of the United States and Canada. Now, we've had other events that were going on simultaneously around the country. Believe it or not, they have canceled their events or have postponed it to the next week and the following week, and so they don't compete with us. That's huge. I mean, we're talking like there's a powwow in Phoenix, Arizona that, I mean, when you're talking about the people that are around Phoenix that go to that powwow, for them to change their date because of Durant powwow, that's huge. You know, that's a huge impact.
About 10 years ago, I went to a powwow out in Taos.
My wife is from
I've been there
Taos.
About 24 hours a day for about seven days. And they'll get different tribes up there every 30 minutes dancing.
Right.
But boy, you're talking about a huge one. That is, I don't know if they still have it or not.
Right. No, Taos. My wife is actually from Taos, and they postponed or they canceled their powwow before COVID, and they haven't actually started back up. You know, so but Taos is a beautiful country. Yes.
I was amazed at what they said.
Right.
I was sitting up with them and one of the directors, and I said, you know, can I dance? And they said, yes. I said, I want my wife to dance. They said, she can't dance. They wouldn't say anything else. And I said, sure, you can let my wife dance too. And he said, sir, we can't. You know why?
Nola.
She wasn't Indian.
All right.
Well, from a hotel, the tribe, we put about a little over $200,000 into this event from tribal funds to fund the powwow. So,
And one of the things that I always look at when I go through the grant is looking at the number of rooms that they will utilize during that period of time. You guys are hotel owners, you know. We were booked last year.
I
during
was
that
amazed
time.
about how many were here just to come to the powwow. I mean, over a week's time.
they won't all stay at the casino. They just don't. I mean, the cost of the room, I mean, but just a lot of them, they want to be downtown, any downtown. Like Michael was talking about when they travel all over. A lot of them, you know, they don't want to stay at the casino, whatever. They want to stay downtown. And so, and, you know, the old headquarters is
Right.
downtown. I mean, it's just the whole cultural aspect.
Well,
that
there's a
just,
lot of families that come that definitely will.
Well, and that's the way we refurbish the use of our tax is through the lodging tax that we collect from those rooms that are.
There's
But-
a lot of people that come into it. It's a popular thing.
you know, going to the
And they
powwow
bring
last
They
year.
bring their families too.
They do.
I've seen this the last 10, 15 years. And if you ever go out there, you're talking about a production. It's production. It's amazing. And how old are you now? Around 40, 50 years old?
I'll be 53 next week.
But I'm telling you, even at his age, they've done it so much. I've never seen such flexibility of body that I've ever seen. I mean, they're.
Well, he's not gonna say it, but he's a world champion, so.
Yes, he
There
is.
you go.
Seven-time world champion,
We've
so.
seen him out there before, yes.
But, you know, and just like Mark's talking about, when he goes even to Europe and stuff, and Europeans are fascinated by Native Americans. They think we still live in teepees and stuff. Honestly, a lot of them do. So they're really fascinated. But to have Drant on the map, and even going to the powwow last year, you know, I can't tell you how many times Drant was mentioned, you know, by the MC and stuff like that. So it's just a partnership, and he's right. I mean, Chief wants that partnership with the, you know, the city of Drant and stuff, because we all live in the community. So anyway.
And
You
if
don't have to tell us. Y'all put in a economic development that weekend. I mean, there's probably hotels over in Denison Sherman that has to be because they can't stand Durant. It's a big impact, and we appreciate y'all.
I was actually in West Bay yesterday, and West Bay was asking, and West Bay's Chickasaw, and West Bay was asking about our powwow, when we're gonna have it, because they wanna pull people over there, you know, so, yeah, and the thing about it, our powwow, it is called Choctaw Powwow, but nobody calls it Choctaw Powwow, they call it Durant.
Durant.
Yes, yes.
Durant powwow.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to,
I'll second it.
don't, okay.
And just to say one more thing, you said your name was
$10,000.
Roberts?
Yes,
My grandmother's name is Betsy Roberts.
okay.
She said, I'm a Thorpe because of the grandfather.
All right.
I have one question, really not pertinent to, how do you fund this? Are you on, does the tribe fund you to?
For me to go powwow?
That's right.
Travel and everything?
Oh, no. Each powwow, okay, so stepping back a little bit, a lot of times people, they kind of get confused whenever we say that it's competition, you know. We compete every single weekend. It's a sporting event, pretty much, you know. We as dancers, we compete, and we go out and we dance, we compete for money or prizes or whatever like that. We as Native Americans have always been very, very competitive since day one, before even European contact. Back in the 30s and 40s, whenever boarding schools came into play, when we were starting to get back in the 1800s, when we were being moved into Indian territory, a lot of the things that we did were outlawed. We were no longer allowed to do it. One of the things that we used to do is go and steal the enemy's horse and use it against him in battle. It was kind of a game, you know. Another thing they would do was count coup. Counting coup was going up with a stick, hitting the enemy with a stick, not killing him, hitting the enemy with a stick and getting away without being caught, captured, or killed. Kind of a rough game of tag, right? Those are the things that we used to do a long time ago before European contact. Taking someone's life, believe it or not, even though if you read all the books and stuff like that, it sounded like we were savages and that we were out to just kill everybody, but that was further from the truth than anything else. We knew that each individual was very important to the tribe, so embarrassing that enemy was the bigger thing, stealing his horse, counting coup on that enemy. So when we were moved into the Indian Territory, we were no longer allowed to do those things. Well, whenever books were being written about the Native American and they were sent overseas into London and Paris and the big cities, all of these people that read these books, they wanted to see the Native American before we were all gone. They knew that we were becoming extinct. So the Wild West shows started. With the Wild West shows, that's why you see everything bright now. It's to stand out. Now, a little bit about the outfit that I'm wearing. This is called the Men's Fancy War Dance. It originated from the war dance, okay? So when the Wild West show started, they came to the Indian Territory, picked up young people, took them and showed them off in circus-type atmospheres. They wanted to see that warrior, okay? But whenever we came out dressed in that warrior-style outfit, everybody got scared, took off and ran off, and there wasn't anybody to see the show. So the elders at that time, they said, we need to be more beautiful, we need to be more eye-appealing. That's the reason why you see all the bright colors now.
So you start off at 5 or 6. I've been out there a few times. People don't understand it, but now, how much would what you're wearing? How much would that cost? And
This.
even the kids. I mean, we're not talking $500.
Oh, no. This outfit here, there's some parts of this outfit that is priceless, okay? But the beadwork itself, just the beadwork, is anywhere between $25,000 and $30,000.
And so the total.
The totals, yeah, like the feathers, not just anybody can get the feathers,
No,
okay?
this is about the only thing that the Indians have that anybody else can't. Anybody else cannot shoot an eagle.
Oh, no.
That the Indians can have eagle feathers and all that.
Right.
Anybody else is restricted from that,
Yes,
right?
yes. And even for us as natives, it's hard for us to get the eagle feathers. You know, we have to go through a huge process. Just because you have a card doesn't mean you can have one. For each individual feather, it's a $25,000 fine and 5 years in prison.
And you can't even pick one up.
You cannot even pick one up. No. So on my outfit, that's what when I get to, it's priceless. So the beadwork, yes, you can buy. It's very hard to find somebody that's able to do that unless you have family that would do it for you. I've got 3 daughters and I'm still waiting, but the feathers, they're priceless. But everything that we wear and the individuals that, okay, so right now there's 530 some tribes out throughout the United States and Canada. I would say that it's very likely we don't take, we do take a like writing down like where they're from, what tribe they are, but not off the top of my head. But I would say that we probably have 90% of the tribes represented at our powwow, at our gathering.
So, getting back, you find yourself, and it's
Yes,
a hobby for
yes.
you.
So,
Find yourself.
yes, as I was saying earlier, my mom and dad, they dance. But as for my family, my wife, she dances. We have 3 daughters; they dance as well. I have grandchildren now as well. They both dance, and yeah. So, fortunately, I'm actually I was at 7, 9, whatever. It's more like 20-some time world champion for myself, and I don't want to boast or anything like that. But you know, I'm still going against 18-year-olds, being 50, almost 53, and I'm still kind of taking them out. You know, it's just a little bit, they're a little bit faster, but I got a little bit more style, you know. But yes, so normally like our prize money when we go out is averaging like between $25,000 and $3,000 for first place. My wife is extremely well as well. So she normally wins first. I normally win first. I'm also a singer, so I'll normally win there as well. So an average take home for my wife and I is between $45,000 and $5,000 for a weekend. Yeah, and that funds us to the next weekend. Yeah. So.
Okay, we need to vote on the
Now, did you say he was gonna sing?
Yes, he's gonna sing. I've been trying to get him to use this. Okay. Another thing about the outfits as well. Okay. Every single outfit. Now, these 700 dancers that are coming out, every single outfit is unique to that individual. The designs that are chose, they represent clan, tribe, family. The colors that they choose represent clan, tribe, family. You might have 700 dancers out there. There might be similarities between some dancers, but each individual outfit is all museum quality work. Each one of those outfits this outfit here weighs between 25 and 30 pounds, depending on what I have, like what else I'm wearing here.
Kids at Michael and his family danced at Robbie Lee Schools last year. So they got out there and did a demonstration in front of all the little 4-year-olds, and all the 4-year-olds got up and they're all dancing and stuff. It was a really neat
I bet they
experience.
still remember that.
They
too.
do.
You have quite a bit of personality being Indian. Most of them are.
Most of them are like him.
Oh, no.
But we hope to continue our relationship between the city and the powwow. We want it to be, my cousin and I, we're actually working to make it, we're actually trying to make it a week-long event. This year, it's normally a 2-day event. This year, it's 3 days. We're actually going Friday. There's events that are going on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. One of the things that we're looking at adding, hopefully next year, will be an art show. Because like I said, every piece is museum quality, you know, and then also with the, you know, the whole film industry now in the state of Oklahoma, there's a lot of Native American movies that are coming out. One of the Killers of Flower Moon, that's coming out as well. And then also Marvel is coming out. And we wanted to do a film festival this year as well. And we want to make our partnership with the city of Durant even stronger. And hopefully one year, you know, we can get more funding from you guys, you know, to make that drum contest even bigger.
There
You
was
know.
eight, I know of Choctaws that played Osage natives in the movie.
That's
Well,
gonna
is it
premiere in
possible
October, by
for
the
us to
way.
get a little short snippet that we can put in with our advertising. Yeah.
We've got
They
that,
can do it to the back door, to the back wall.
we've got, Charlie, we've got video from last year.
you?
Yes, we do.
I think
ample
we ought to
video.
incorporate
I
some of it.
agree,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing about it, you already convinced us about 10 minutes ago, and James, you brought the right dance pattern.
I've been waiting to hear him sing, that's what I've been waiting to hear.
Would you do that? You can sing with him, can't you? Well, she can sing with y'all too.
Go ahead, Carrie.
You first.
Well, thank you for
Thank
the
you,
presentation.
guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Better make, solidify this
Call him
with
back.
vote. Yeah. Charlie Calhoun,
Yes?
Janet Reed,
Yes,
Jim Thorpe.
Yes.
Debbie Anthony, yes. Chairman Danny Shear.
Yes. Please direct Main Street, Mr. Market.
Before we move to the next item, I'd like to point out that we have people watching online and they can't hear, so please talk into the mic. And if you are presenting, please talk into the mic as you switch positions.
Thank you, guys. That is awesome.
Hello, I'm Amber Foster from Durant Main Street. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the packet. This is my second year, going into my second year as the director of Durant Main Street. If you've ever driven downtown at Christmas time, it's not super festive down there. And we are really trying to change that. Last year, we fundraised just out of the community, basically community members, just regular families, not necessarily large businesses or anything like that. We did have a few businesses donated, but we raised about $4,600, and we spent every last penny of that on lights, and myself and volunteers hung as many of those as we could. We actually couldn't hang all that we bought because we could not afford to have any professional installation paid for, but we hung just as many as we could hang with an extension ladder and just, good old-fashioned sweat, blood, and tears to hang these lights. They looked really nice. It made an impact, but it was not to where we want to be. If any of you have ever been to downtown Grapevine, that in my mind is where I want us to be. Granted, that is hundreds of thousands of dollars of lights and labor and all of that, but I still hope within the next 5 years or so that we can get there, and it's just going to take a little bit every year to get to that point. We actually generally travel to Grapevine for our Christmas trip, but I had never been there not out of Christmas, and so we went down there last weekend just to Grapevine, just for a regular trip, and honestly, it's not that great without the Christmas stuff, but there were still people everywhere, and so I believe that the way they hype up their Christmas to be such a destination, that carries that tourism over for the full year, because their sidewalks weren't great, their shops weren't great. There were a lot of shops with no air conditioning, and I feel like our downtown is far and above what they have, but because they have made themselves such a Christmas destination that people still keep coming year round. We booked a hotel room there, and it was completely booked up, and it wasn't like any special event that weekend or anything like that. It's just people, they had just gotten used to coming there at Christmas, and they like it, and they keep coming. And the restaurants were full, the streets were full, the shops were full, the sidewalks were full. I just got a ton of ideas for just stuff that I would like to do for our town just to keep that going. And I think it starts with making us a Christmas destination, because when I had smaller children, and even now they're a little older, we don't always love to travel out of town. It's not super convenient, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. And so to keep people from having to travel 2 to 2.5 hours to be able to find things to do with your kids at Christmas is really important. So, the main thing, I think we have to have the lights. Choctaw did have a light display one year, but they have not done it since then. So we really don't have anywhere for our community to go and enjoy light displays. We're also doing a breakfast with Santa, which is super important. If you are a mother of small children, that's just always a really fun event. We are bringing reindeer in the Pocket Park, also with Santa. That's another photo opportunity. We're doing a mistletoe market for 4 weeks. We're doing the first 2 weeks outdoors and the second 2 weeks inside the Massey building, just kind of a shopping experience experience, and either Santa, reindeer, or the Grinch will be present at that each week. So really for a whole month from November 25th to December 16th, we will have some event every single Saturday, but we hope to have the light display up by beginning to mid-November, and we just hope the light display itself draws quite a bit of people, and we hope that we build upon that each year, where people just want to come to Durant to look at the lights and be in the Christmas.
Amber, a question, and I asked this of
Yes.
people, all of our applicants that come in. How will our brand be used?
So, since I've taken over, I've tried to, it's been a slow process, but we're designing wrap cards, kind of like what Discover Durant does so I just got one almost finished for our fall events, and then we will also have one for our Christmas events. We have everything on Facebook, and we do represent our sponsors on our flyers. So whether it be you or anywhere else that sponsors, we have our sponsors listed on there, on our website, on our Facebook, on our flyers. And what I want to do this year differently from what we did last year. So last year we had a Christmas tree made, and if you were the top sponsor, you were the star on the tree. Well, that's great if you walk by and you see it, then the people walking by are seeing it. What I'd like to do this year is create a photo booth and kind of have each of the sponsors around the edge of the photo booth. So if families or children are taking their Christmas picture in front of the photo booth, you're kind of seeing those sponsors outlined, and that just kind of puts it out there to a few more places. Because, if you're a family and you're downtown, you take your picture, you post it on Facebook, well, then everybody's going to see that too. So we're going to try to change that up a little this year.
You know most of the information because you're on the board of directors, aren't you?
Yes, and I'll have to abstain from this one to vote. So, and that will still leave a four. It will. The other thing that I'd like to point out, this is the first grant that's been written from Main Street in 3 years, I believe.
Probably
correct?
so. This is my second year, and this is the first one that I have applied for Main Street.
And you've been here for 2 years.
This is the start of my,
Okay.
into my second year.
So we haven't given a grant to Main Street this whole year, even for Christmas
The last
or
2
anything like
years.
that?
Correct. No, at least.
The money that was utilized for Christmas went to the city last year. It went to Parks and Rec.
And we didn't see any of that. I purchased all of it with donated funds, and then we hung them up ourselves. So what we're really hoping that'll make the big difference this year, I'm hoping I can at least double or triple the amount of lights that were bought last year, which we still have all our lights. They're still in good condition. We can use them, but I want more lights. But I'm hoping professional installation is really going to be the big difference, because I'm sure there's people out there that do a much better job of hanging those lights than I can.
You got a question?
Do we not consider the $125,000 to $50,000 that we spent on concerts to be downtown?
That's strictly a Discover.
Do we not consider I think it was 10,000 or so that we're spending on the Oktoberfest? Is that not downtown?
They're both downtown, in the downtown area, but it's not granted to Main Street.
We don't have but $50,000 left. Right?
70.
70,000.
No, we just spent 20 of it.
No, 10.
Yeah.
No, we granted 2.
No, we
No.
granted 1.
Just the powwow.
Just the powwow. We
One had
tabled the
more
We
bass.
table the other one till next month.
Yeah, but we're probably planning on doing that
So
one.
that's
So we just,
20,000.
right now, we just got, if we weren't gonna do it, we would have voted against it. We've got $50,000 left
Sure.
for the whole year. And I know about 25 years ago, we didn't have any kind of decorations at all in the town. And I went out by myself and went downtown, out first, out to Walmart, and got between $25,000 and $30,000 to buy what little we've got now. They're wearing out. They're 25 years old.
They're not even usable.
But there were a lot of people downtown, particularly property owners, that put money into that. And I just feel like we've put, in my opinion, and I'm not against what you're trying to do. It's my downtown too, but I think this board has got to spread it out, and I see we've got another one coming up for I didn't even know we had a West Durant committee out there.
I think this is one of the most important ones, in my opinion, because if they don't build on it, just like the Parks and Rec, if you don't build on it a little bit every year, you're never gonna get, because we're never gonna
Well,
spend
but-
$100,000 on it.
But they've got some ability to build on it. There's property owners downtown that can put them.
And we
I would think
we
that's-
are utilizing that resource. And I fundraised pretty hard last year. It only raised $4,600, which it was something, but it was just a very scratch in the surface. I think
Well,
businesses are in a
as long as-
predicament.
As long as there's money coming from somewhere
Yeah.
else, they won't do anything. But we didn't have anything, the time I got out and raised that money,
Mhm.
we didn't have anything for anything for
Yeah.
Well, I
Christmas
think a lot
anywhere
of
in
the small
town.
retail stores have suffered ever since COVID. I don't
Yes.
know, you can probably speak to that better than I can. And Annette Morrow talks about keeping help and having to pay them and wants to stay open later hours.
But I
if they
think,
can't
I
afford it,
think
so I don't
that's
know that-
true, that's probably
true everywhere.
true about
That's
even
true.
the motels out
Yes.
west of town. It's not the same as it was before COVID.
No.
Yeah, so while we do seek donations, I think a lot of those businesses are hurting to the point that they can't donate very much. So while we did get a lot of donations from businesses, it may have been just a $50 donation. And even if we raise $5,000 in addition to the grant, that's still not going to get us to an impressive amount that I think people are going to travel here to see it.
And
So
Charlie,
the
I know
owners- the owners
exactly.
pay dues to Main Street.
Some do. Not
Charlie, I
all
know
of them.
exactly what you're talking about.
50% or 30%?
I'd say we're probably at about 75% of their downtown. They pay $25 a month, so it's not a lot.
What?
It looks like it'd be 100% if they want that much help, doesn't it?
You would think.
They're getting free stuff and not paying even a due for it.
Yeah, I'm hoping eventually to introduce something to City Council that maybe makes there a little bit more cohesiveness to downtown, to maybe make that mandatory and certain things that they have to do and that sort of thing. We're just not quite there yet. Maybe once we get a city manager, we can kind of get on track with that.
Free wide and all this money coming in.
Now, we do not, if they are not a Main Street member, if they don't pay their dues, I don't hang lights on their building. So if they, we hang them on a light post or in the market square or somewhere along that line, so we don't just let them waste. But I'd say 75% of our
They benefit
businesses are.
Because when we put $125,000 to these 4 concerts, they benefit without putting a dime on this thing.
Correct. We don't have any way at this time to mandate them to become a
Charlie,
member.
That's another thing we used to do as a community. I'll hush and you can talk in a minute. Another thing we used to do as a community, we had programs that came into town. We didn't have the square stage to use at that time. We had to use Montgomery Auditorium out at the college. But people bought tickets for all of that. And that's what supported it. I mean, people in town bought the tickets for it, and that supported it. And we had a lot of different kind of concerts, and there would even be an orchestra that came in, and used to, the people in town had to pay for stuff themselves to get things done. Even the economic development back then was done by the banks and businessmen that were in town at that time. They put into a pot and they brought 2 or 3 different industries in. Now, I know we're changing that now. We've got an economic development committee, which I was a part of getting set up, and they've done a good job, in my opinion, over the years. But we hadn't got much money left now. And I just, in my opinion, I think that we've done a lot for the downtown. Whether they consider it that way or not, I don't know, but it is that way. I mean, we
haven't given to her in 2 years.
I'm going to disagree with you, Charlie, and yes, I do sit on the board of directors. But that was the first thing I did when I came here, and it was 18 years ago, was to write a check for those Christmas because it went through the chamber. There were $40,000 that was collected. That was 18 years ago. Add inflation, growth, everything to that. And our businesses are not doing well at this point. You guys both said, you know, we can't find help. I think
They
Danny.
weren't doing good back then. We had a downturn back when I went around, but they all.
And I'm not arguing with that. What I'm saying is, I think we need to do anything that we can to boost traffic coming through our city. The west side, the university, has slowed business down in that area tremendously. I think we need to look at this as an overall thing. And as Amber stated, it's been 2 years since we have donated directly to Main Street. If she doesn't spend the money the way that she has told us that she's going to spend it, then we want it back.
Well,
So it's very
Well,
clear.
When we first started this, like I said, this tax right now is on about 4 or 5 businessmen, and that's where it's coming from. It's coming from a hotel tax that is taken out of our pocket. That's 5%.
I don't see how you say it's taken out of your pocket.
And-
We collect
and-
it.
and-
It's not
well,
coming out of
and
your
I know
pocket. We collect the
We do,
taxes.
and I know you're a manager and you're
Yeah.
not an owner, so
If-
it makes a difference
if
here.
you
but
No,
were-
it does. I care about my
Yeah.
owner's money just as much as you care
Sure.
about your own money,
Okay.
honestly. Because that's why I'm running his asset.
But when we.
But I'm just
when
saying,
we-
it's not coming out of your pocket. We collect the taxes, and my rate is higher than it's ever been, since I've been there in the 6 years.
It does come out
So
of
it
our
does,
pocket.
it does
but-
not, yeah,
it does
I
come
don't
out
have to
owners-
lower my rates because I'm charging more taxes.
Yeah, I
I'm still
understand.
getting a huge, especially on the weekends, my ADR is probably $111.
I understand.
So it's not hurting.
I
It's not
understand.
coming out of my owner's
But it
pocket,
does
so I
come
don't know
out,
why it's coming out of
but
your
it does
pocket.
come out of the owner's pocket. Now, getting back to this, when we first made this agreement, we made the agreement, and we had you involved too, and that we knew that if we took 5% away from the hotels, we was gonna get money back and try to put that 5% back into the hotels by people staying overnight and going to restaurants and all that. That's what we agreed on, right?
And I agree
That's what
with
we're
that.
doing.
And
That's
that's
what
what we're
part of this
doing.
is.
Hopefully, we're creating an environment that will bring people to our city,
That will
to
wanna
stay
overnight
overnight.
and shop
not
overnight.
just a one-time stay, but they will be coming back. They may not stay for this particular thing, but believe you me, we are at least opening our doors and inviting them in and saying,
If
come
we're
see
gonna be
what we have to
progressive,
offer.
we'll just-
And we do
And I
hope they
will
stay.
say, We've got a better downtown than Denison does. I was
Sure.
over
Yeah.
there
And
yesterday.
guess what? They have a
W-
golf
we have
course and all that too, because they're trying to build their downtown up.
We have scheduled all
I
of these
know-
events on Saturdays for pretty early in the morning. So if you want to be here, like you're probably going to come the night before and stay the night. Especially
And
most of them are
especially if
geared
there's
towards
lots of
small
weekends.
children. So you're not going to get up and drive in the morning with your small kids. You're probably going to come the night before. You're going to get a hotel room. You're going to drive around and see the lights on Friday night. You're going to eat dinner. You're going to stay the night. Then you're going to get up in the morning and go have breakfast with Santa. You're going to get up in the morning and see the reindeer. So we did intentionally schedule them for earlier in the morning, hoping that they'll come in Friday night, see the lights, do the festive things, stay the night, and then do your Saturday morning activities.
And that's why we agreed to these concerts. We believe if we get some names, even the better ones than we have this year, it'll bring
Well,
people
my
from
daughter
Dallas-
wants to go to at
it'll-
least 2
it'll
to
bring
3
from
of them, but
Dallas,
she's only
Oklahoma
35.
City,
so
Yes.
it's a pretty good choice.
and Fort Worth. And if they come in and watch big names here, then they'll stay overnight in hotels and. eat
My
at
daughter was
restaurants.
excited about 2 or 3 of them, and she's only 35.
Well, you
so I
must have
think-
had her when you were 5, if she's that old.
Oh, well, thank you, Charlie. I like you after all. No. I think it's awesome, and I think we're moving in the right direction to get more heads in beds, as we all say, in the hotel industry. So I would like to make a motion to give the $10,000 for improvement of the Christmas lights.
And you're making a motion to use this money,
$10,000 to improve Christmas lighting downtown.
so this is for Christmas lighting.
Well, it's going to be kind of spread out between all our events. So the Discover Durant brand, if in fact we do receive the grant, we will put it on all the branding. The breakfast with Santa, the reindeer, the Santa, the month-long thing that we're doing. So it's not just going to be we used it for Christmas lights and you're not seeing the branding anywhere. We're going to put it on everything for the month long.
And it's a mistletoe market.
Because
which is very
people
encouraging.
are, whether we promote stay here or not, they're going to be looking for places to stay. So we need that branding on there so that they know where to look. Because we don't have a hotel downtown, so they're going to have to come stay in your hotel. I would love for one of y'all to build a hotel downtown, though.
I would love
You
that.
got
too.
it.
I think you also need to, if you get this grant, need to approach the city to match it or more than match it to help with lighting and everything.
I would just even love their labor in helping of putting it up. So, if you'll, yeah, I don't mind. I have no problem asking anybody for.
We do this once a year, so you won't be coming back in September, October, November.
No, most likely you will see me again for next year Christmas, because this really is something I want to make, to where we really stand out. Right now we're competing with Atoka and Calera as far as being a Christmas destination. So right now we have a little bit of a head start, and if we don't really jump on it and start building massively our Christmas every year, Atoka is very easily going to jump out in front of us, and they are going to just drive on by.
Yep, exactly right. So do we have a second or no?
Okay. We need a second. I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Good vote.
Charlie Calhoun,
I abstain.
Janet Reed, are you abstaining?
Yes, no.
Jim Thorpe,
Abstain.
Debbie Anthony, yes. Chair Danny Shear.
Yes.
So, did you abstain?
She
No,
has
sir,
to.
I
She's
did
on the
not.
board.
Did you vote?
No, she can't.
Yes, I did.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
And you can, being on the board, that's not a conflict of interest?
It may be a conflict of interest, but I believe in it. And I think that this is something that we need to look at. Anything that we can do to bring people into our community, we have got to strive.
Well,
We've
we're
got to
looking
build
at it. We just didn't think that we're in a position to do it. Now we got $40,000.
Well, 50, we haven't approved this Bassmasters.
I think this will do more for our community
Then Bassmasters.
and the people, the members of our community than this bass tournament will.
And I will say that it has. There were families that donated even just tiny, tiny amounts last year because they wanted so badly. Gas is too high to drive to the bigger cities to go see these Christmas displays. They just really want to see it here. So
It'll
I
bring
appreciate you
local
guys.
people in from 25 miles, so that's, it's beneficial to downtown. I agree that. We need a ground town.
And it's beneficial for the
Yes.
city with sales tax.
Sure.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it very much.
Okay.
Brings us today, the Rotary International District 5770 Conference and Banquet.
Their grant application starts on page 68, and they are here to present.
It's on 6. One of 6.
I'm Patty Swink with the Durant Rotary and also District 5770. This is my husband Jim, and this is Jeremiah Lynch, who is the president of our club. We've been a club since January the 1st, 1920, and you've had one other district governor, and it was Alan Platter. If any of you remember Alan, that was back in the 70s. So I'm very honored to represent our district from Durant, Oklahoma. And one of my responsibilities is to plan for our district conference every year. Most of the time, our events take place in Norman. That's where the bigger clubs are. That's where most of the district governors have come from. There's been some from Ada, Duncan, various places, but I'm the second one from Durant. So it was my desire to bring the conference here because I want to promote Durant. I want to promote tourism in Durant. Now, our district is composed of 31 clubs. We go from Norman out to Sayre, Elk City, Lawton. We go east just to Seminole and Milwaukee in that area, and then down to Durant, of course, and we've got a club in Madill. I have invited 2 other districts to come join us. One of them is in Oklahoma City area, and they go out west of Oklahoma City. They have over 1,600 members in their district. We've got a little over 1,000 right now, but we're growing. And I've also invited a district out of Texas, out of Northeast Texas. They also have 41 clubs. They have over 1,400 members. They go down to Longview. They go east to Texarkana, Henderson,
Over Texarkana.
all over the northeastern part of Texas. We've got a hidden gem right here in Durant. I want them to see what we've got. I was excited when I found out that I was going to be governor for that reason. I want people to come. How many people have a reason to come to Durant from Longview, Texas? How many people from Oklahoma City have a reason to come to Durant, Oklahoma? Well, we want to give them a reason, because I believe if we can get them here, they're going to come back. They're going to come back. We've been out visiting. Part of my responsibilities is to visit every one of the clubs in our district, and everywhere we go, we tell them about our conference. People are excited. People in Texas are excited to come to Oklahoma. I want them to come see what we've got. I want them to visit in our downtowns, in our shops. I want them to eat in our restaurants. I want them to stay in your motels. But we've got to get them here first. We've got to give them a reason to come, and I believe through this conference we can.
How many do you plan, or do you think estimated will be attending?
This is the first time that we've done something like this, and I'm thinking a minimum of 250 to 300.
And these will be overnight guests?
Yes, they will. We're offering Thursday night. We're offering activities all around Durant on Friday. So there will be some that will come in Thursday night. We'll have a reception Friday evening in downtown Durant just to get them into our area. We'll have the conference all day on Saturday, which I've already invited Janet to come out and promote tourism in Durant. We've also got speakers that are, we're also in a zone, and our zone goes from Canada all the way down to the border. There are 31 other districts, and we have a Rotary International director from those zones. I've got 2 of those coming to Durant, Oklahoma. Also to...
Is this a 3-day event? Is what it
Yes,
is?
sir. Well, it'll start Thursday night for those that want to come into town, and it will finish up Sunday morning.
Is Tom Criswell still with the Rotary?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
We're
Is
about
he
to
still
celebrate.
active a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
We're
Oh,
about
yes.
to celebrate Tom's 60th year with
Well, that's
with
great.
Rotary. Yes.
Does he ride his little go-kart anymore? Not in his parade. He doesn't do it anymore in the parades.
I think that's the Shriners.
That's
The
Jim.
Shriners.
Shriners.
That's
That's
John
the Shriners.
Buchanan.
So he's in
That's
that
John
too.
Buchanan.
Yes.
Yes.
They still
Yes.
Patty, how
They-
will we be branded? How do you intend to use the Discover
Your
Durant
brand. We will be printing programs for everybody that attends. I'll give you a whole page in our program. We will also have tables set up for registration and that kind of thing, and we'll put your brand on all the tables. We might even sneak some in for our foundation dinner and stick them in there. You will be well
I got a
represented.
question for
Yes,
you.
sir.
I don't know how you get to speak this much. I remember
You
Jim
remember
back
Jim. You know
in
Jim.
high school, and he never did quieten down. He was speaking all the time.
I just tell him, look, I'm the governor. You have to be quiet.
He's telling you that he was quiet in high school. He was not.
Jim goes with me on all these visits. Jim is also promoting the 4-way test speech contest with our young people. So when we go on our visits, I get to talk,
There you go.
and he has to sit. But then, sometimes I give him a few minutes, and most of the time I wind up going.
Where are you hosting your dinners and your meetings?
Well, of course, the only place in town that's big enough is at the resort, at the Choctaw Resort. So we have that space, and the Choctaws, as you will see, have donated the space to us in the amount of $20,000.
Have they donated?
Yes, the meeting space. Yes.
Thursday night is at Law Street. Our dinner's there. And then we're having one at,
At the museum, the Three Valley Museum. We'll be hosting a dinner at the Three Valley Museum.
And the Simple Family Museum.
Yes, we'll be touring. Well, I say we're going to offer tours on Friday of our downtown, of our museums.
Well,
One thing
this
that
is a 3-day, and this is pure economic development.
Yes, sir.
And I'll make a motion that we fund this for
Thank
the
you.
Rotary Club.
I'll second.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll second.
Charlie Calhoun,
Yes.
Janet Reed,
Yes.
Jim Thorpe,
Yes.
We
Debbie
got-
Anthony, yes.
We got 30,000 now.
You're giving me
Dang
30,000,
sure.
did you say you're giving me 30,000?
Thank
thank
you
y'all
all
for
so
coming
much,
in.
and I
Thank
think it's
you,
awesome what
and if
you all
this
do.
works out, we may do it again next year with 4 districts, so
Okay.
we've
We
got
have a-
another one interested.
We have a 4th district that's interested that has 3,000 members.
Yes.
Wow.
And they would like to, they had already planned theirs, but once they heard what we're doing, Patty is the best ambassador for Durant you've ever seen. She's been promoting it all over the
I have
state.
to agree with that.
Especially in Norman.
Yay.
So we may have a big one next year.
Awesome.
Well,
Well,
thank y'all
thank
for
you all
coming
for
in.
everything you
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you. And you weren't quite in high school.
There you go.
He's had me quite since he was born.
West Durant Merchants Association, website address.
They are here to present.
And I do want to clarify something before we go into this. Many of these merchants are members of the Chamber of Commerce, but I will not abstain on this vote.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Good afternoon. My name's Madison Williams, and I serve as the director of the West Durant Merchants Association. With us today, we have one of our board members, Mr. Bobby Story, and I'd like to thank him for being with us today. As you've heard, the West Durant Merchants Association is a relatively new group that formed in early January because of the road construction that affected a lot of our merchants in the university project. We are a registered 501c6 business league with the state of Oklahoma, but this group came together because how can we come together and advocate for those merchants who, like you all mentioned earlier, businesses are hurting because of COVID, but as was stated, a lot of our merchants are hurting because of the university project. We have 3 goals that we focus around. Those 3 goals are to align, empower, and promote. The promote goal is the reason we're here today. We'd like to promote those businesses on the west side of town because our grant proposal is entitled a West Side Christmas. This grant will help offset the cost of a Christmas tree farm with some out-of-town vendors from the Oklahoma City area that will come in and sell live Christmas trees, an ice skating rink as well. We will have live reindeer, but those will be on a Friday night for a photo opportunity, a Christmas movie while you ice skate, a Christmas light display, vendor booths, food trucks, and more. Most importantly, this event will bring Christmas cheer to all of Durant and its visitors. Specifically, this event will be hosted in the old Alorica parking lot across from Lowe's, which is in the heart of Hotel Central. So this will be a great event to greet our hotel guests with. In addition, there's a lot of economic impact that'll happen. There's a lot of restaurants on that side of town, gas for people who will be traveling to our community. At minimum, we expect 750 attendees at the ice rink. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to take any questions you all may have.
How will our brand be used? How
So-
will that be displayed?
That's an excellent question. It will be on all banners, all social media graphics, walk cards that will be distributed to every hotel, mentions in all programs and live remotes, because events like this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. T-shirts if we have the funds, and if you'd like, you all can sponsor a certain event at the Christmas festival.
Does this west side, does this incorporate all 3 shopping centers?
We're working on expanding to that. Right now, we've been a grassroots group of about 15 to 20 members to even see if there was an interest and a need for those folks in the community to come together. And we realized that there is, and what a better way to bring people together and invest it in a group than a Christmas kickoff weekend.
This is what I've been asking for the last 3 or 4 years. And I love downtown Main Street. We've got one of the best ones. But we have left out for 4 or 5 years. We're talking about 9th Street. We're talking about over on Washington Street, and then the one on out past the Marquette Inn. We've left those 3 out in the code for the last 4 or 5 years. And we've benefited, and it's good to benefit downtown, but we haven't done nothing from the west side.
And Amber Foster and I have a great relationship. We've had a conversation about how this event and her event will make all of Durant better. We have to work together to bring people into our community. And what's one district succeeding without the other? We all need to come together.
What are your boundaries that you consider your district?
We don't necessarily have a geographical boundary yet that's in writing, but we know that Main Street has a district, but there is an Uptown district, the West Side district. Councilman Sheriff sits on South 9th, so those are open to as our members see fit.
I don't know anything that includes Lowe's and Walmart.
A lot of our members are the banks that serve on that side of town, Steubenville Chevrolet.
That are on University.
Yes.
What about Shamrock?
Shamrock is has been with us since the beginning as well.
Why can't we include that whole area out there? Because when I was raising money, the most money I got was from the banks and Lowe's and Walmart.
Yes, we're in beginning the conversations with those folks. We've had some conversations with some people on Radio Road, and they're all excited and interested in our group. So we look forward to having them at our next set of meetings.
So you think Walmart, Lowe's, and some of the banks will contribute to your?
I'm not for sure on Walmart and Lowe's specifically. We wanted to talk to you all first about what the funding piece would look like before we approached those other entities for sponsorships.
At the time, now this is 25 years ago, but at the time they were really good. I mean, I just went in and asked for it, and they said, "How much do you need?" And I gave them a figure, and they gave it to us.
So how many members do you have?
Right now, we average between 15 and 30.
And so all of them contribute?
We're not a dues-paying organization currently. We're looking into that for the next year, but we had to fill our paperwork with the state of Oklahoma before we can go that route.
I make a motion that,
Are there just 2 days for the ice skating group?
Yes, sir. It would be the evening of December 8th from 4 p.m. till 9 p.m., and then we'll start Saturday from 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. This weekend was picked specifically because Southeastern will still be in school, and so we'd love an opportunity for our college students to use the rink. But for cost,
So you're bringing back an ice rink this?
is it an ice rink or a simulated?
Unfortunately, a real ice rink is really hard to move and to set up for longer than a month at a time. But this company we use out of Dallas, it is a synthetic rink, but the folks stay with the ice rink and they spray the adhesive, the polymer, whatever.
We've used that before for the Magnolia Christmas, and it was packed.
That's good.
And
whole
where
time.
are you going to locate that?
The old Alorica parking lot across from Lowe's on Radio Road.
So is this your reindeer or it's Danny's reindeer? Well, you got a place for them out there.
I make a motion
They're
that
from
we-
Dallas.
It's from Dallas, or you
Yeah.
bring them in?
Yes, there will be 2 reindeers with reindeer handlers and a sleigh.
You wanna make a motion?
I make a motion that we accept this grant.
I'll second it.
And Jim
That's $10,000 less.
Charlie Calhoun?
Yes, now we've got 20,000.
Yeah, for the rest of the year.
I'm glad you can add, Charlie.
Janet Reed?
No,
Yes.
I'm
Jim.
subtracting what I'm doing.
That's
I
it.
hadn't learned to
I'm
add
thinking
yet.
they
He's
can
doing good.
walk to any of our hotels.
You
from those
subtract
parking
me.
lot.
Absolutely.
Jim Thorpe?
Yes.
Debbie Anthony, yes. Chairman Danny Shear?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess we ought to go back up to number 1.
Chairman Chair,
we-
I'm gonna suggest that we go to item number 3 since we have somebody to present on that as well. We
You
skipped
want
it.
that?
Oh, okay.
We skipped item number 3 and we have someone here to speak on that.
Okay, yeah. The grant wrap-up report on international rugby.
Hello. First of all, I apologize for my voice. I'm kind of losing it here, so I'll do my best, but I apologize for being so raspy. First of all, I want to thank the city of Durant and everybody on this board and the entire city. The last 2 years, they've supported the rugby tournament that was an international rugby tournament, and both years it was tremendously successful. One of the factors that we looked at as far as being a success, how we would measure a success, is growth. And we grew almost 25% from the year before, and that included bringing in the youth teams, which we didn't have 2 years ago. But it was a very successful tournament. If you look at really one of our main competitors in the rugby tournament business is the city of Austin and the city of Houston. We were the third because we were kind of late in coming into the tournament business. We were given the third national qualifier. When I talk about national qualifier, you have a national championship in the rugby industry. And there's tournaments placed all over the United States. You qualify to get in the national tournament by winning those local qualifiers. We were the third local qualifier in this area. What that does is basically we were sitting behind Austin and Houston. Because of the success at the fields, we were rated the #1 field in all of Texas for the last 2 years. So thanks to the park department and Ryan Brewer, he did a hell of a job, and his people did a hell of a job on the field. But we now are in the second position. So they bumped Houston out. They said, no, we'd rather go to Durant and have what Durant has to offer and what they've given us the last 2 years. So right now we're sitting in the situation or the position right behind Austin. And Austin's going to be, quite frankly, tough to beat. They have over 100 and some teams that show up for their tournament. We're sitting now just under 30, and hopefully next year we'll be in the high 30s, early 40s, and then we just continue to grow. But
how much impact did this rugby have on Durant last year?
Well, the average team will bring about 20 players and coaches, and then we got about 25 teams coming in, and then
you have it out the sports.
Yeah, we have it out at the sports complex. The 3 fields that they use for soccer, we mark those out to be a rugby field. Works out great. I mean, it really does.
So how many people you think it brought into the community?
On that single day, we brought in well over 1,000. I mean, we were packed all on the sides. They had their tents. We had the food truck. We had a beer permit, so we were serving beer there. It really worked great. I mean, I've been in the rugby business for, I started playing when I was in college. I'm 74 years old now. And
is this a 2 or 3 day event?
This is a 1-day event, and then as we grow, it goes into a 2-day event.
What time is it over at night time?
About 6 o'clock. We run solid during the day. We run almost 100 games.
And so it starts around 9?
Yeah, about 9 in the morning. And then we run games every 20 minutes for the entire day. And we have that.
At 6 o'clock, they'll have to stay in a motel that night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we've wanted is to bring people here. We start a little bit later. I mean, we could kick off at 8 o'clock, but they'd come in Friday night. We'd rather have them come in Friday night, kick off a little later Saturday morning, and then have them stay Saturday night. And we make it attractive. We have some events that we put on that the guys are over 21. They like to have a beer now and then. And so we make that available to them, so to speak.
Well, I make a motion to fund you.
Jim, this is a wrap-up. It's not a grant.
Oh, it's not a wrap-up.
This is a wrap-up. But that you guys were very generous. And let me tell you this, I gave Janet and her people the wrap-up. Kind of people look at me and say, what are you doing this for? I've been involved in rugby. I used to be a professional football player. I played rugby when I was playing football. My kid played it. My kid played for the USA in rugby. He's been to probably 20 countries. So it's a real neat thing. And quite frankly, right now, the World Cup of Rugby is going on in France. The next time they have the World Cup of Rugby, it'll be in the United States.
Well, you got to vote for next year. You just need to come back.
Well,
I'd like to say something about Jeff. One thing about it's a great event, you know, and I presented because you couldn't make that last time, but they even take some of the funds to pay high school kids to come out there and work that day too. So the money's staying in Durant too as well. So this isn't a money-making thing for him at all, and I've seen that, and I'm all about, you know, people trying to you know, live off the backs of communities and things like that. But that's not what he's about, and I know they're wanting to do something else in the future, and even with to utilize that sports complex for a lot of youth tournaments, one big weekend. Yes. But don't want to get off on that. But that's something I know he's going to bring back. But it's a great event, and this is a stand-up guy.
You can tell he's passionate about
listen,
it.
And really, that's one of the things that James was leading into that I wanted to kind of bring up. About 4 months ago, I woke up and I said, what the hell am I going to do? I got a hell of an idea. We've got a great city. We've got a lot of attractions in a great city. We're close to 3 major airports. And what kind of an event can we bring to the city of Durant? And it came up, sports festival. So I started talking to Ryan Brewer. I talked to James. I talked to people that are putting on rugby or baseball and softball tournaments here in the local area. So in June of 2024, we're going to hold the first Durant Sports Festival. Now you say to yourself, God, that's kind of interesting. Well, figure this. It isn't going to be for a weekend. It isn't going to be for 2 weekends. It will run the entire month of June. So we've got the first week is Magnolia, so we're going to obviously not have any events on the 1st and 2nd of June. But there's 4 other weekends in there. We'll have baseball, softball, 7-on-7 football, disc golf, rugby, soccer, a fishing tournament. They brought that in the other day in a meeting, stickball, and lacrosse. And so this will all be in during the month of June in 2024. So we're looking at almost all the tournaments will be 2 or 3 days, hopefully bringing in an event on 2 events each night on Thursday, because we basically log in 2 hours for each event. So on Thursday we'll have 2 events, so that means hotel rooms Thursday night. Friday they play all day. Saturday they play all day. Sunday they play a half day and then go home. So we're looking at three nights where everybody will be hitting the street, different age groups. So you're looking at alcohol sales, food sales, all that, various kinds of activities that are walking the streets and bringing people in.
You can tell that you love rugby with all your heart. Anyone else would be down in Florida Keys fishing.
Well, I've got to say that it's been a good marriage between rugby and myself. I started it in college, but like I said, my son played for the U.S. I've been able to go all over the world watching him play, and now I'm having a heck of a time bringing it here to Durant. One of our goals is to have a youth team out of Durant, because there's not a reason in the world why Durant, this high school and the school district, doesn't have a rugby team, because all the Oklahoma City teams high schools and clubs have them, Tulsa. So there's not a reason in the world why we can't do it.
What's the season that they have?
Season runs pretty much right after football, so it doesn't conflict with the football players or the football coaches.
I remember the first rugby match I saw ever, and I hadn't ever heard of it before, was over in England, and it's been long. It was back in '71, I believe it was, and I was over there, and they told me about rugby, and I went out there and to see it, and boy, that was
Rough.
That was a rough game. The way they played it over there.
It's there's professional rugby now, so it's there's an avenue for people to make money. There's a team in Dallas. There's one in Houston, New Orleans. They've got about 13 teams throughout the United States. But the big thing I wanted to do today, though, was to thank you guys for your support. Without it, it would have been a lot harder putting the tournaments together. But I'm committed to the city, and I'm committed to bringing rugby here, and with our goal of bringing a national championship tournament here, which would be.
I think we all appreciate that.
Yeah, we thank you for coming in, and I don't think you have to really convince anybody here. I think, you have it with all your heart, and you're going to make it go, even in Durant. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Have a good day.
Yay.
And we also thank James for helping us out.
Thank you for
Bring it
coming.
I still want to hear
Thank
you
you.
sing.
No, Charlie, that's not gonna happen.
Okay, now we should go up to number 1, approval of the minutes of the August 29th meeting.
Well, did you want to say anything at all? Ex-council member?
How much money you got left?
We
Oh, that ain't nice.
we got
That ain't
$20,000.
I'll come up with something. I'd like to get something.
Well, okay, you better hurry because they're coming.
So how's your new car wash done?
We're getting along.
It just takes a while, doesn't it, with that mess?
We're close, the road's close to finished, and we're gonna get there. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
Come try it out.
Thank you for
all.
coming.
Actually, I have. It works pretty good.
Cool.
Thanks.
Okay, number 1, approval of the minutes of the August 29th meeting.
Well, when I first came here, I had a change to make, but she helped me out. I didn't.
thank you.
What she sent to me wasn't the whole thing, and so.
So
But
are you making,
I'll make a motion we approve it.
second,
Okay.
And what are we on? One.
one.
First. Okay. We're not done.
We just approved it, that's it?
We're gonna vote.
Okay, go vote.
Charlie,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Debbie, yes. Chairman,
Yes.
that was
Okay.
important.
Financial reports review.
We have others that we have to approve in that as well. They're not listed on the agenda. Minutes.
They were approved with the amendments, but we approved them, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And if you
Okay.
look in your packets on page 8, I believe is where it starts, on the back of the page. And we now have a statement from the bank, Charlie. Do you see that in your packets?
Well, do we have that little chart that shows what we get per month?
Yes.
Yes.
Where's it?
It's gonna be on page,
It is on page.
just a moment.
18.
Did it end up being the same for 2
No.
months in a
No,
row?
sir. Grace and I talked about it, and it wasn't an error on the part of the city. As you can see, they have deposited most of it back for some reason. There was like $1,760 something difference, but Grace has contacted Ms. Van Chin, and we'll get back with her on the difference, and I'm sure it will be deposited also.
Well, I couldn't imagine what the odds were.
I know, that's what we said too. It was like, that can't be possible. But she did deposit most of the difference back, but the $1,768 or $9 or something like that.
So what we're looking at is July's.
No. August is also included
Yeah,
in
there's
there too.
July and
isn't it?
August.
Yeah,
we
but
didn't
it's,
have access to it.
it's actually the taxes from July, isn't it? In August.
Yes, we've got.
Actually, yes. In July, by the 15th of July, you have to report the June earnings.
And the final payment.
And
then the next month we get July's, which
Yes.
would be August.
Yeah, I'm never sure.
And I appreciate her doing all this for us, because it helps understand all of it, and it keeps us more on top of things.
Debbie, I see you also included the access that any one of us can go to for the
Yes.
Oklahoma Tax Commission as well.
Do you see that, Charlie, on page 17?
17?
Mm-hmm. We've included how to access the ledger report for tax collected, so any of us can log on to any of these resources and see exactly what we've collected for what month.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so any of us can go in there at any time and see where we're at month to month, or every 3 months, every 6 months, and see exactly what's been collected. And
Well, where we are right now, we got $20,000.
That's what Bobby said when I was out there.
No, Jim will be asking for that next.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
go down to number 5. Information on the hotel TV channel for community events.
I finally came in contact, and my contact was with Vive. Vive told me that this is probably not in our best interest because everyone is going away from cable. There are hotel chains that are completely canceling cable altogether by December of 24. So I think if we keep digging into this and trying to get cable into hotel rooms, it's eventually not going to matter at all.
May I interject on that too? Because I also talked to a Vive guy, because as y'all know, I had a change of ownership, so we were switching it all over, and when I've seen this, he comes and uses my internet all the time. So he told me, I said, what can we do about these TVs? You know, we're always having to fix our boxes and TVs because they're not working. He said, we're about to go from video altogether because everybody's streaming. Nobody's using cable anymore, and they're losing money on it.
They're getting out of cable business,
Yes.
what you think? Really?
Yes.
That's what.
Even the
rep told
cable
me.
guy
He's
is
not
getting
a
out of cable
president of
business.
Vive or anything.
So what are
That's
they
what
gonna
the
do with
rep-
all these towns in Oklahoma that they have this visitor channel on?
They're streaming it.
They just
It's all
stream.
through the internet, no cable.
I think
So
there
what
was
you buy
another.
would be even easier and cheaper.
I think there was another
How are
option
they
that
streaming it? How do they manage that?
Through the internet, through the Wi-Fi. They're
I
not.
know how you stream. How do you
Well, like I don't
stream
know-
what you're talking about? Who's
You can't do it at
broadcasting?
hotels because the hotels don't have the streaming televisions yet.
They
Right,
will.
but, that's what I was gonna say, because ours, we're going to Roku TVs as we're replacing them, thankful for my new owner doing that. So, and people love those Roku TVs, because they can get on their own Netflix, their own, you know, whatever, Prime Video or all that, and they can watch it in the hotel room after they've been watching it at home for 3 months and want to finish their series.
But right now, and maybe the next 2 or 3, 4 years, you're not gonna be watching YouTube and Roku on hotel television because they don't have the streaming ability to do it. They don't have the television.
It's all Wi-Fi. I mean, the owners would have to buy Rokus, but it just says you replace TVs. If you're like us, you have to replace a few of them at least a year. So over a 3 or 4 year span of period, just, that's what we decided to do, is just start replacing them with Roku TVs.
Well, of course,
So if it comes to
they've
that,
got
we'll be prepared.
Roku has several competitors. They've got.
Yeah, I'm not saying it has to be Roku, I'm just saying a TV like that, there might
A
be
smart.
cheaper versions.
They've got
of
Fire
TV.
Stick,
Yeah,
Amazon Fire Stick,
exactly.
and they've got
All kinds of smart TVs.
Netflix has got one, and
And so what you're telling us is they don't wanna do it?
They're telling us that it would
They're
be a
not-
waste of our money to try to dig into cable because the cable companies aren't even
Going
selling
away.
cable anymore.
But he
There's
did
no-
give
there's no
another
reason-
option.
So there's
Yeah.
no reason talking about it anymore?
So our other option, and we can vote on if we
There's
want to
another
dig into
option.
this or not. When you have a guest come into your hotel and they try to connect to the internet, there's usually a box that says, yes, I'm a human, connect me to the internet. After they do that, if your company is Vive, and I can talk to the Vive reps, they can make that go directly to discoverdurant.com as a landing page. So every time somebody logs into your Wi-Fi, it's essentially just driving them to our website, which hopefully then they would click through. That is another option that we can look into instead of doing this cable thing. So,
I think, I
well,
love that, it's
I've got
almost
a
simpler.
Fire Stick, and I can carry it with me wherever I go in the
That's-
motel, and I can plug it in, and I can have what I've subscribed to there that I'm
Exactly.
used to.
I thought the only ones that had fire sticks was Indians.
Well,
He said
they let
He's
this
still on
white
the
man get one.
They let that white man get one.
So we just need to look
they-
for
Which I
them.
think that's almost an
Did-
easier way to
did-
do it.
Did they say anything, what they charge to do that?
But how do we get ourselves together on streaming it when,
what they
Okay.
would charge for the landing page, he said that probably could be at no cost as long as the hotels work with Vive because that's who they're paying
Who's
to
your
do it.
internet through? Or mine's Vive.
So-
Who's yours, Vive? So they would just maybe do it for free, which might be better. As soon as you log into Vive Internet, they'll have it where.
well, how
they
do we put
are-
the input in?
The input is there. It was like an app on your phone. That's what that would be. Discover Durant comes up, there's a link on it, they can click into that, or we could go with a QR code, either way.
As long as we can get the same result.
I love that idea because you think, oh, what is this? We had just logged on, let's see what this Discover Durant is, just like Jim's talking about, you go in and turn the TV on to see what's in the area and all that. So that's basically would be that as soon as they turn the TV on, except maybe it's on their phone or.
Yeah,
But
we
he
could
did
we could have it
discourage-
set to that.
But he did discourage it because he said that basically cable is going to be obsolete very soon.
Well, I mean, this other is better than cable. Streaming is. I mean, I found that because I can take my stick and go anywhere with it.
Then look at
That was
you,
a-
operating a fire stick. I'm
Can you
impressed.
scan a QR code with it?
Yeah, and he knows the QR code.
So I think
Good, Charlie, you've
That's
been taking
for
that
later
brain
on, so we
stimulus.
understand that.
I think the best thing that we can do is probably vote no to this, and if I come up with something else like that landing page, I can tell you guys the best way to contact Vive to get that done.
Sure, just table it then. All right.
No,
No.
didn't you say that we need to vote on it, Jim?
Yeah.
You would have
Okay.
to vote
Make
no
a
to get it off
motion.
the agenda.
I don't want to.
Oh, well, let's just table it then.
We can't table
Oh,
it because
'cause-
if we table it, we have to continue to
Oh,
put it
no,
on
let's
there.
just,
I'll make a motion.
We can table it until
I'll
further
second
notice.
okay.
I'll second
Okay.
Jim's motion.
Janet. Charlie,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes.
Debbie, yes. Chairman Danny.
Yes,
Sorry, we're gonna need to spell those names out.
all right. Number six, a contract with the Durant for the 6975 lawn maintenance.
Give us
That's
information on
free.
that.
I don't have any updated information. We just keep tabling this.
I know, and I happen to be looking through all the minutes. and
I'd
this-
like to ask a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause he's heard something.
Wait, I might have an answer.
We got, well, I'm gonna say this before I talk about that. We got $20,000. And that doesn't include the contract with the city, does it?
no.
So we don't have enough money to pay them except for $20,000.
No.
That's the
Charlie,
grant
That is
funds.
for grants only. That's for grants only.
That's not how much money we have.
Well, how did you come up with that?
The budget. Did you see the sheet that was in there? We have 120, we appropriated
That one with the grant.
120. You know, it's not with the grants, it's before the grants, it's in the
Sure.
financial statement.
Sure.
There's one in there that, and I will get your page number,
We actually have,
These pages confuse me.
16, page 16.
It does make
There's a
sense.
line item that we've got for
Is this
advertising.
the first 16 or the second 16?
It's the one that's in the middle with 2 dashes in front of it. This is just a portion of the budget.
Okay.
Next month, we'll include the whole thing, if that's okay with
Yeah,
Debbie.
yeah. That's just for grants though.
Yeah.
Like if you look on the bank statement, that's really how much money we have in our budget, or for our entire budget to pay everything else. The grant budget was 120,000, which we put 50,000.
Where's our budget?
We don't have a
We don't
copy
have a
of the
copy of it
budget
in that.
in here. It was approved in June. It was in that one. But
How
it-
much money we got in the bank?
Well,
651,035.48.
there you go.
48.
And we should have more than that because we do not have the September recorded that they deposited by the 3rd week.
Well, but actually, statement dates are August to August 31st. Average ledger is at 676,906, and average collected 676,906.
I still hadn't found
You
that
didn't give us a
120.
financial report a while ago.
Where's
You
that
weren't in there.
$120,000?
Pardon?
The part of the budget for grants you said was $120,000.
It's on page 16, Charlie.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 16.
I'll show you. See, it's kind of hard to read when it's black and white, but see, the 120,000, that was our starting budget for grants.
Okay,
then
but
there's-
where's
and-
our budget?
That's our budget for grants.
I understand.
The
I'm
budget's
talking
not
about
in-
the overall budget.
Oh, we don't put that in every packet.
We've got to know how much money we got,
Here's how much money we have,
all right?
and that's for August, and that's how much money we have.
There's a
But-
spreadsheet.
This is only for grants, and now we're down.
But we're spending money out of the grant. So
Out of the
that
grant
should,
budget,
that should start showing up in there.
Charlie, if you would just request a spreadsheet on the entire budget, that's ready to go. It's just not included in this one.
Well, that's what I'd like to see.
Okay. And that's available anytime you want to see it. If you will come over, Grace has that.
Well, can you send it out to the motel?
If that's okay with the chairman, we can. Do you want us to send that out to everyone? Okay. Your budget that was approved would be in your June.
Why would that not be all right?
I didn't say it wouldn't be all right.
Well, you got permission, but I mean,
We didn't vote on it. It's not a line item. I want to make sure we
Yeah.
cover all the bases.
Excuse me, now that wasn't on the agenda.
well, if it's something you normally are gonna have in your packet, you wouldn't have to get any approval if you got
Well,
it.
we normally don't have it in our packet, so that's why the question.
At this point.
Right.
We have had in the past.
Further, yes. But I thought she did an awesome job, including more than we've ever had.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're back to,
Let's go to number 7.
Are we
Like Jake's
tabling
conversation.
number 6?
no,
Sorry.
let's not take.
We
Seven.
we had to come up with something on there.
Well, I went back to, like I said, going through all the minutes, and this was going back to like 2022, and then apparently 2 board members, Trustee Thorpe and Trustee Walker, was gonna form a committee to work on with the legal representation and the city manager at the time, John Dean, and they were gonna develop and present a detailed contract.
It wasn't
that
just
never
us, it
happened.
was Danny Sher too.
Well, in these minutes, it was Trustee Thorpe, Trustee Walker.
And I
form a
got called one
committee.
time and they never called me back and I wasn't even in the meeting.
Well, I'm just saying, that was in 2022, so I guess we
Well,
just need to
that's-
vote it
I don't-
no.
I don't
and
think there was
move on.
ever any meetings.
I thought
I'm
it was
just
you
tired of
and
seeing it
Walker
on
with the
that.
lawyer.
We never had any, I don't think, I
Really?
don't recall. ever
You never
having
did
any
get with them?
I don't recall ever.
Well,
having
he
any.
wasn't, unless it changed, because this is when John Dean.
Yeah, he was one of them.
I'm just saying, it's not in his
Yeah.
minutes.
Somebody messed up.
Well, this is from 2022, so, but I went back because I've seen
So what
it
are we
on the
gonna do with
agenda
this?
over
We're
and
gonna hold
over.
it till next month?
No, what are we gonna do with it? Let's just, but we can always bring it up again if somebody comes up with a solution, please. It's been on our agenda every single month since the beginning of 2022.
That's good.
And it's the end of 2023
If
for
we do it a
2
couple more
years,
months, we'll
and
get
we
it back
haven't
in.
come up with a solution yet.
We can always bring it up next month, can't we?
Wow,
under new
what's gonna be
business.
different?
Yeah, we're gonna have to,
One, we don't control that land, and we don't have the money. Even
get with them.
when we have the money, we're gonna get the
You wanna get
city
with them?
money, and we're gonna give
You and
somebody
I
else
can
money
get
to
with
take
them.
care of it.
Me and
Does that
Charles
make
get
any
with them.
sense?
You get with them,
get
Charles?
with them.
Huh?
We can get with them, can't we? Who
The
we need to
city?
get with?
Yeah, I think we need.
We've got a committee of you and I and
It's
Janet.
been 2 years since that committee was formed. I
No.
found it in the
No.
minutes.
It hadn't been 2 years since the committee I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, 1 whole year, my apologies.
It
But
had-
part of 2022, a lot of 2022, June, July, August, September, October, November, 7 months of 2022, and now it's almost December of 2023, so that's almost, I mean, I found it in June 28th minutes from 2022.
Me and
That's
Charles
how
will get
long
with
we've
them.
been tabling it or not doing something about it. And if y'all come up with a solution, let's put it back on the agenda, but why do we have to bring it up every single
Then why don't we
meeting
just
and wait?
get it, me and Charles, would you go?
Who are you gonna go
I'll go.
see? It's the
That's where you
problem.
can go and.
Go where?
You can't go unless we vote that committee is, we
Well,
have to
we
make
gotta
a
reform
motion.
the
That's
committee.
exactly what I wanna do.
And
But
what,
we can't
where are you gonna
put this
go
on
is
the
what I wanna
agenda.
know. Where are you gonna
And
go
I
with this
second your
committee?
motion.
You're gonna go to where? The city?
Yes,
That
I
you
want,
want-
yeah, I wanna
Okay,
make a
who are you
motion
gonna
that-
talk to? We don't have a city manager right now.
We have a mayor.
interim-
We're gonna
interim
talk to the
city
mayor,
manager.
we're gonna talk to the assistant, the temporary
Well, it
city
hadn't happened in
manager.
Yeah, I
2
would say
years,
we're
so
gonna
you take
talk to the
initiative.
park
Y'all make-
department.
Because you didn't take the
Me and
initiative 2
Danny
years
go
ago.
to 'em.
If y'all take the
Right?
initiative and do it, please.
Would you go?
No, you wanna make that motion?
I'll make a motion that Danny and Charles and me go to see the city manager and also the mayor.
The
And then
acting
this next
city
month.
manager.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Let's vote.
I don't think we can do that, it's not listed on
On
the
the-
agenda.
Right, to form a committee.
You don't have a place for
You know,
new business?
We
Or
do,
old
Charlie.
We'll put
business?
We can't vote on it unless it's specifically on the agenda.
That's what we're tired
yeah,
of seeing.
it's
It.
discussed.
Let me tell you what the law says.
discuss and consider.
I'll tell you what the law says. New business can be voted on if it's something that wasn't able to be known before the meeting.
Well, this has been known for 2 years, so I don't think that's true.
Not the motion he made.
Not on us three.
Then let's wait till we get to new business.
Okay.
We've got to address this issue on 6.
I just want somebody to come up with a solution. I'll be happy to vote on something.
I make the motion that we go ahead and remove this from the agenda, take this totally off, and then if a new contract is negotiated, I think that's great.
I'll accept that. I second.
But I'm voting that we remove this from the agenda.
And I second it.
And bring it back next month.
When y'all
Whenever you
figure
want
out
to,
something. we
whatever
always
y'all
put
wanna
the
put it
agenda.
on,
When we
whenever
get
you wanna
some-
put it
When we
on.
get something with the city, okay. All right, that's been seconded, let's vote on.
Charlie,
Abstain.
Janet,
Yes,
Jim,
Dang.
Debbie, yes, Danny.
Yes. Okay, Lake Texoma Association 24 Guide to Texoma Advertising.
If you look at page 123 in your packet to 125, this is the back of the Lake Texoma Association magazine. We did this the past 2 or 3 years, I believe. It's a great opportunity for us, and if we don't take it, they'll sell it. So
Oh, I think that's simple. Fuzz.
we've held our spot with this magazine for the past few years. So
Does the chamber do this too? Are they in on this?
Well, they're part of Discovered Grants.
we buy one separately,
You bought one separately?
yeah, I believe in this
No,
last one.
we don't need another one.
Where's that, what page?
123 to 125.
123.
And we are the back cover.
What's the cost?
5,000.
It says that the back cover is sold.
They're holding it for us.
Okay.
I think that's pretty cheap.
How many do they print?
It's in here.
These are numbers.
I know it's a lot. At least 50,000.
Should be on the, yes.
And they take these to all of their travel shows. They say 250,000 is
What did we get
projected.
last time?
Say that again.
Hmm?
What's your
They
question?
print 250,000, she said, and take them to all their travel shows, the Lake Texoma Association.
But which one of these ads did we get last time? 4,700?
We did the back cover, which is why they're allowing us to get it again this year.
How much?
5,000.
It's 5,000.
Yeah. Says 50,000
I think that's what they
copies.
print, yeah.
And they're estimating 5
50,000.
people per copy to look at it.
Oh, okay, my fault.
Okay,
Reggie was done.
5,000,
So how much are we planning on spending on this year?
5,000.
How much we spent last year?
I'm not
5,000,
sure, but
and
I'm
I
assuming
think
it's the
there's been an
same.
Increase in there.
Do what?
It has been an increase.
Does that include the discount, or is it?
Where's the chamber gonna be located in that?
I don't know, Charlie.
You didn't buy one?
We haven't ordered it yet, no. I'll have to, if I go above 5,000, I take it back.
So what is our ad gonna look like?
Well, we don't know yet.
I did get a call today about this, which we have the cover of our magazine from this year, which is an option. The graphic designer that is designing the front of this, it's the same person who did it last year. Very good design. They have said at no extra cost, they will transfer that to the back, and they can help us design the back to flow with the front, but also shine Discover Durant.
I think we need to go with that and see what they come up with.
I think
really do.
it'll be good.
We're gonna table this?
What?
We're gonna table it?
No. If we do it, we're gonna have to vote on it because we have to get it back to them.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to
So it really
$5,000
benefited
for the
that
back
much?
cover with their design coordinating with the front cover design.
Front cover of what?
The Lake Texoma Association magazine.
You talking about the front inside page?
No, the
Back,
front,
back. It's the back cover.
We are the back cover.
yeah, but the front cover, the guy's gonna design it.
Yeah.
The back cover for us with our logo and our book from last year, but he's gonna make it coordinate better with the front.
Why not
No.
just get a half page inside?
Cause you throw a magazine
You
down,
don't
see
look.
the front and the back cover. If you'd ever open it, you still see the front of the back cover.
I'd like to point out when I have seen Lake Texoma at these travel shows when I've gone for Discover Durant, and you see people walking around the convention hall with their magazine like this, and everybody else is looking at the back cover
which is
while
much
they're
better
holding
than
the front. So I think it's a good statement piece.
So they don't even look inside.
Maybe.
But, I mean,
That's not
pretty
saying much
cheap.
of their magazine, is it?
Well, when you pick it up, you're going to look at the front and the back, and then you're going to dig in for more information. They've got
Shouldn't-
maps, marinas, everything about the lake.
Shouldn't we look at what he comes up with?
When do they?
They have to have an answer, or they're going to try to sell the
We've
spot.
done it- We've done it several years in a row, I
I know,
think.
I don't know.
No, I'm not saying that
Vote.
at all.
Okay.
I'm saying if we decide to do it, shouldn't they give us approval of what they're
They
gonna
will.
do?
They will, yes.
I would think so. They should already had the approval and showed us what they were gonna do if we're gonna vote on it.
They're not going to work on the
Just something out in the clouds right now.
they're not going to work on the artwork until we tell them we're going to pay them.
We're gonna be, I mean, why would they waste their time
Yeah.
to go come up with
No.
the artwork if?
Well,
we're not
if
gonna-
we don't like
I
what
like
they
to have
come
business.
up
I'm sure we
with,
can tell them to change
I like to
it.
have business like that.
Yeah,
You just
I
give
Oh,
them.
God,
I
yeah,
think-
come on, it's
I
5
think we can
o'clock.
trust the
We
staff to
praise
decide
and the
whether
guy
or
needs
not-
to go home
Do
from the
what?
city.
We can trust the staff to decide whether or not what they
I
come
think
up
that's
with
part of our contract.
is
I don't think we ought to
Good.
trust the staff. I think we ought to have a vote here on what it looks like.
We
Because
can.
we're the ones that
Can
are.
we say we'll take the
paying for it.
back cover, we need to approval, how about if I make a motion to give the $5,000 for the back cover advertising, but based upon approval by the trustees? Not based on, approval for $5,000, but must be approved by trustees. Before
We're
print.
talking
The
about the
design.
advertising itself, right?
Yeah, before print, it must be approved by trustees.
Did I
Approve-
not
Approve
say?
has to be approved by this board.
It has to be.
What
There's
was
no
the
sense
page
in
on
doing
that
it
again?
if
I've
it's
already
out
flipped
in
off
left
of it,
field.
right?
Well, there's
123
my-
and
Okay,
up.
we've got a
I'm ready to go
motion, I
home.
think we had a second, let's vote.
Who did we get a second from?
Who made the motion? I mean,
Yeah,
I'll second it.
What
Okay, we got a
was the
second.
motion?
to
To-
approve $5,000 to
For the back
advertise.
cover, but we have to approve the artwork
The
before it goes to
content.
print.
We'll approve the content.
by the board,
By the board.
By this board.
Before it
Yes.
goes to print.
before it goes to print.
Are you good with that?
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
good with that.
Okay,
We'll leave that
Charlie?
so.
Yes,
Janet?
Yes.
Yes,
Jim? Debbie? Yes. Danny?
Yes. Number 8, moving this board meetings to the Area Chamber of Commerce
Can we
meeting
table this
space.
for next time, please?
Okay, let's table it.
Is that okay
Table
with
it.
everybody?
what are we tabling?
The moving
Because
the
I know that's gonna
meetings.
be a long drawn out.
why do we need to table that? We need to
Because
talk
it's
about it
5
for about
o'clock
10
and he
minutes.
gets off at 5 o'clock.
Because
No,
he
he'll
needs
wait
to
till
leave
5:30.
at 5 and we've got a parade that we have got to leave
Other
for.
people have other stuff going on.
Okay.
Well, who's not for that? Who's
Huh?
not for it? Moving it to the chamber.
I think that we need to discuss it.
I know, but aren't you
I
for it?
really could care less, to be honest, but I don't know the benefit of it.
And-
But that's why I would like to just table it so we can discuss it, so this gentleman can go home.
I thought it was a slam dunk. I thought anybody would.
I don't know that we have the capabilities
You said
to
all your
stream it.
time was over.
Who are we gonna
And,
Uh,
and that's not in our contract.
All of his time's overtime anyhow.
And yes, and we're
I
paying
don't get
for
overtime,
it.
I'm salaried, so.
It wouldn't be hard to change it for the, over there, and you just have to have sound. You don't have
Okay.
to have television or anything like
We
I
that.
don't
make a
even have
motion
to
to
have
adjourn,
sound.
Danny.
We don't even have to have sound over there.
We've got to
Okay,
come
let-
up with-
let's-
How do you have to have
let's-
sound when it's recorded?
Because of time constraints.
Legally, we have to record it.
Let's
No,
table this.
we
to the-
can have a tape recorder to
That's
record
it. That's all you
The
need.
tape recorder.
That's all you need.
Okay,
All
we'll
right.
push those 2 buttons to record and record it.
Number
then
9, informational items.
I'll make this
Discover
quick.
Durant.
Just argumentative, silly.
I'm totally confused.
Sorry.
Our Facebook page and Instagram page are going great. Fall concert series kicked off last week. A lot of people are driving here to come see those concerts. They're checking out our website. They're checking out our Facebook. Those numbers are in here. They're a little blurry, but just know that our Facebook's doing great. Our next item is our time capsule burial. The time capsule that we pulled up this summer, we're putting back in October 14th. You've got a flyer for that. The fall concert series schedule is also in here, along with a thank you letter from Mark Webb at the Southeastern Foundation. Their tailgate series is doing great right now. And then your concerts from the Choctaw Nation.
Thank you.
All right. Any old business? New business?
Well, the new business I brought up a while ago.
Yeah,
the
and we'll
committee.
put that on the agenda. We can put it on the new business.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll talk to somebody.
I have one thing that I would like listed on the agenda for next month, Danny, and that's to discuss moving a portion of our funds into a CD because the rates are so high right now. And I have the attorney checking to make sure that there's no legal restraints with that. And also I want to make sure what interest rates we can get.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the city and the schools do it with their, in the county.
He told me he didn't think that there was any problem, but he said he wanted to double check and make
I
sure.
don't think there's any problem with it, because other
Danny, I'm
political
sorry about
bodies
Okay,
do it.
all right, okay.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Charlie?
We have to call roll.
Yes.
Oh, Miss Janet?
Yes.
Debbie, yes. Chairman Chu?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's it?
Yes, and they're very messy.
Uh,
but
the
thank